A little bit more, a little bit more. You give birth to this sin, and it grows, it matures, and when it is fully grown, completely consuming you, death. Now, the next verse I want you to see is this. In Romans chapter 6, verse 14, he says this, "For sin shall not have dominion over you." Same type of intent. Because it says this, "For you're not under the law, but you're under grace." And now he brings in this truth that trumps this other truth. In other words, you can have basic laws, and laws are good, but then you have what? You have greater laws. There's always something greater than what you're looking at. Now, nothing greater than Jesus Christ. He's the end of all things. The law was what? Written of him to do the will. But if you notice in our natural universe, we have a law called gravity. What gravity does is it keeps you here on the ground. You can jump, but what happens? Then you fall back down. And so gravity always keeps you here. Now there's another law called aerodynamics. Now what that law does is this. It recognizes gravity, but then it says this, thrust plus the way that you have wind going and to have something to be risen, when you have enough thrust and you have the ability within physics to transform the wind, you have lift. So thrust and lift does what? It beats out gravity. Listen, you have planes that weigh thousands and thousands of, they're metal tubes, and they're flying in the air. And they got metal engines, and they're flying in the air. Not only are they flying in the air, but they're bringing a bunch of people with them and their luggage and everything. Well, why? If gravity keeps it down, because there's a greater law, aerodynamics. So keep in mind that what we're seeing here in verse 14 is key as we go into this. Sin shall not have dominion over you. Why? It's not your ruler. There's another ruler, grace. There's another spiritual law. We understand that grace to be what? In a sense, it's justification. We recognize that is that process of where we get what we don't deserve. In other words, God simply looks to everything that we've done wrong. He literally says, nope, you have nothing to your account. You're justified just as if you've never sinned. That's grace. So you have this one law, spiritual power, sin, but then you have this greater law that he says, this will help you, grace.